A hotel worker in Tokyo looked a tourist straight in the eye and said 6 words that made her blood run cold. We are aware of this ghost. This actually happened to someone who ignored every single warning sign about staying in a neighborhood built on an ancient execution ground. What did the ghost want with her shoes? And why did the hotel staff act like it was completely normal? This actually happened to someone staying in Tokyo a few years ago, and trust me, you'll want to hear what they ignored before checking in. Sarah needed a cheap place to crash near Minami Senju Station. The hotel's price was too good to pass up, barely $40 a night in one of the world's most expensive cities. Her Japanese friends warned her about the neighborhood. That whole area used to be an execution ground, one friend said over coffee. Back in the Edo period, they killed hundreds of thousands of people there. Sarah laughed it off. She traveled all over Asia. Ghost stories were just stories, right? The first weird thing she noticed was right at the train station exit. A stone Buddha statue stood there, about 3 feet tall, with Japanese characters carved into its base. She asked a local what it said. The woman's face went pale. "Kubikiri Jizu," she whispered. "The neck-cutting statue." She hurried away before Sarah could ask more questions. Walking to her hotel, Sarah passed an intersection with a small shrine. An elderly man was placing flowers there. "Namidabashi," he said, seeing her curious look. "Bridge of Tears." His eyes looked sad and distant, like he was seeing something Sarah couldn't. The hotel itself seemed normal enough. Clean lobby, polite staff. A young woman at the front desk smiled and handed over the room key. Sarah's room was tiny but clean. Just a bed, a small desk, and a bathroom. She kicked off her sneakers at the door, positioning them neatly facing outward like she'd learned to do in Japan. Then she headed out to explore the neighborhood. When she came back 3 hours later, her sneakers had moved. They weren't facing the door anymore. They'd been turned exactly 90 degrees to the side, pointing at the wall. Sarah frowned. Maybe housekeeping came in, but nothing else in the room had been touched. Her backpack sat in the same spot. Her jacket hung where she'd left it. Just the shoes had moved. She shrugged and went to bed. The next morning, she straightened her shoes again, pointing them at the door. When she returned that evening, they'd been turned sideways again. Same exact angle, 90 degrees, pointing at the wall. Her skin prickled, but she forced herself to think logically. There had to be a reasonable explanation. Maybe the cleaning staff had some weird system. Maybe it was hotel policy for safety reasons. On the third day, Sarah set a small test. She positioned her shoes carefully and took a photo with her phone, making sure to capture the exact angle and placement. Then she left for the day. That evening, she returned to find them moved again. 90 degrees, perfectly sideways. She checked her photo. No question. Someone had been in her room. Sarah marched down to the front desk. The same young woman from check-in was there. "Excuse me," Sarah said, trying to keep her voice calm. "Has anyone been entering my room? My shoes keep moving." The girl's smile vanished, but she glanced at an older woman behind her, maybe the manager, who gave a small nod. "Yes," the girl said quietly, not quite meeting Sarah's eyes. "We are aware of this ghost, but no need to worry. He never hurts anyone, and if you are annoyed by it, just Sarah's blood went cold. The girl had said ghost like it was completely normal, like it was a fact. The way you just say the air conditioning sometimes makes noise, or the Wi-Fi is slow on the 3rd floor. Not we'll check the security footage. Not that's impossible. Just we are aware of this ghost. Sarah stood at the front desk, her mouth hanging open. The young worker kept talking like nothing strange had just happened. "Just leave your shoes facing any direction you want," she said with a gentle smile. "He will move them no matter what." It's harmless." "Harmless?" Sarah's voice came out higher than she meant it to. "There's a ghost in my room touching my stuff?" The older woman behind the counter stepped forward. Her name tag said manager. "Room 204, yes?" She nodded slowly. "We have had this guest for many years. He prefers that room. He moves shoes. Sometimes he opens the curtains. Nothing more." Sarah wanted to demand a refund. She wanted to grab her bag and run, but it was already 10 at night, and every other hotel nearby cost 3 times as much. She had 5 more days in Tokyo and barely enough money to eat. "Can I switch rooms?" she asked. "All full," the manager said. "Golden week, very busy time." Sarah went back upstairs, her heart beating hard in her chest. She unlocked her door slowly, half expecting to see something standing there. But the room looked exactly the same, empty, normal. Her shoes sat sideways where the ghost. She couldn't believe she was thinking that word seriously had left them. She didn't sleep well that night. Every small sound made her jump. The air conditioner clicking on, the pipes groaning in the walls, a door closing somewhere down the hall. She kept her eyes on her shoes, lined up at the foot of her bed where she could see them. They didn't move, not while she was watching. The next morning, Sarah felt silly. Daylight made everything seem less scary. She'd probably just freaked herself out. The hotel staff were probably messing with tourists. That had to be it. Some kind of weird prank to make the place seem interesting. She spent the whole day at museums and temples, trying not to think about the room. But when evening came, she dragged her feet, walking back. The sun was setting, painting the sky orange and purple. The streetlights flickered on one by one. That little shrine at the intersection had fresh flowers again. Someone had left a cup of tea there too, still steaming. Sarah climbed the stairs to the second floor instead of taking the elevator. She didn't know why. Maybe she was stalling. Her door was at the end of a long, narrow hallway. The carpet was red with gold patterns. The walls were cream-colored and plain. Fluorescent lights buzzed overhead. She put her key in the lock, turned it, pushed the door open. Her shoes were sideways again, perfectly 90 degrees. But that wasn't what made her freeze. The curtains were open, wide open, every single one. Sarah knew, she absolutely knew, that she had closed them that morning. She always closed curtains. She didn't like people looking in. She pulled them shut, checked twice, and left. Now they were open. All 4 panels pulled back to show the dark window and the city lights beyond. Her hands started shaking. She stepped into the room and looked around. Everything else seemed normal. Her backpack on the chair, her jacket on the hook, the bed made with tight, perfect corners the way housekeeping did it. But the curtains and the shoes. Sarah walked to the window and grabbed the curtain fabric. It felt cold in her hands. She yanked it closed, panel by panel, blocking out the night. Then she turned around. The bathroom light was on. A thin yellow line glowed under the closed door. She hadn't left that light on. She was sure of it. Absolutely sure. Sarah stared at that line of light under the bathroom door. Her whole body felt frozen. She tried to remember the morning. Had she used the bathroom before leaving? Yes. Had she turned off the light? She always turned off lights. Always. Her mom had drilled that into her since she was little. Waste of money. Bad for the planet. But that light was definitely on. Maybe housekeeping left it on by accident. That made sense, right? They'd cleaned the room, used the bathroom to refill stuff, forgot to flip the switch. Simple mistake. Happens all the time. Sarah forced her feet to move. She crossed the small room in 4 steps. Her hand reached for the bathroom door handle. The metal felt ice cold against her palm, even though the room was warm. She could hear the bathroom fan running, a low whirring sound. She turned the handle and pushed. The bathroom was empty. Of course it was empty. What did she expect? The light above the mirror was on, making everything look harsh and bright. The sink was dry. The toilet lid was down. Fresh white towels hung on the rack, folded into perfect rectangles, but the mirror was covered in fog. Thick condensation like someone had just taken a hot shower. Drops of water ran down the glass in slow lines. Sarah's breath caught in her throat. The room was cold. She could feel goosebumps rising on her arms. No one takes a shower in a cold bathroom. And housekeeping had been here hours ago. The fog should have cleared by now. She reached out and touched the mirror. The glass felt warm. Actually warm. Her finger left a clear streak through the fog. That's when she saw it. Letters. Someone had written something in the fog, revealed now where her hand had wiped through. But she stepped back to see the whole mirror. 2 words in English. Get out. Sarah's heart slammed against her ribs. She stumbled backwards, hitting the doorframe. The bathroom light flickered once, twice. The fan made a grinding sound and stopped. She ran, grabbed her backpack, didn't bother with her other stuff, just ran. Her shoes were still by the bed, but she didn't care. She ran barefoot into the hallway, the red carpet rough under her feet. The elevator was too slow. She hit the stairs, taking them two at a time, her backpack bouncing against her spine. The lobby was bright and warm and full of people, normal people, tourists checking in, a family with little kids, an old couple looking at a map. The young worker from before was still at the desk, helping someone. Sarah rushed up to the counter. She was breathing hard. Emma probably looked crazy. "I need a new room," she said. "Right now, please." The young worker looked at her feet, no shoes, then at her face, which must have been white as paper. "You saw something," she said. It wasn't a question. The mirror. There was writing. It said... Sarah stopped. "How did you explain this without sounding insane?" "Get out," the worker finished for her. "Yes, he writes that sometimes when he is upset." "Upset about what?" Sarah practically shouted. The other people in the lobby were staring now. The manager appeared again, moving fast for someone so old. She put a hand on Sarah's arm. Her fingers felt strong and steady. "Come," she said quietly. "We talk in the office." They went behind the desk into a small room with a desk and filing cabinets. The manager closed the door. She pointed to a chair. Sarah sat. Her legs felt like a jelly. "That room," the manager began, "has a history. A man died there 15 years ago. He was a businessman. Very sad, very alone. He checked in and never checked out." She paused. "He did it in the bathroom, with a rope." Sarah felt sick. "Why didn't you tell me? In Japan, we must tell guests if someone died recently, but 15 years is old enough. The law says we don't have to." The manager looked tired. "He is usually quiet. Just the shoes, just the curtains. The mirror thing is rare." The manager pulled out a key from her desk drawer, different from Sarah's key. Older looking, with a red tag attached. "Room 312, she said. "No ghosts, I promise. No charge for the extra nights." Sarah took the key. Her hand was still shaking. "Why does he move the shoes?" she asked. It was a weird question. But she needed to know, needed it to make some kind of sense. The manager sat down heavily in her chair. "In Japan, when you prepare a body for a funeral, you turn the shoes. You point them away from the door. It means the person is going to the other world, not coming back." She looked at Sarah with sad, dark eyes. "I think he is still preparing to leave, every day, over and over. He does not know he's already gone." Sarah felt tears prick her eyes. It wasn't scary anymore. Just incredibly, impossibly sad. A man so alone that even in death, he kept getting ready to go somewhere. Kept trying to leave a room he would never actually escape. "What about the message?" Sarah asked. "Get out. Was he warning me?" "Maybe," the manager said. Or maybe he was reminding himself. She stood up. Room 312 is on the other side of the building. Faces the park. Very quiet. Very peaceful. Sarah gathered her stuff from room 204 the next morning. Daylight made it easier. She felt stupid being scared at night, but also justified because that fog on the mirror had been real. She'd seen it. Touched it. The words had been there. Before she left, she did something strange. She positioned her shoes facing the wall, 90 degrees. The way he always moved them, it felt like a small kindness, like saying, "I understand. I see you. I'm sorry this happened to you." The rest of her trip in Tokyo was normal. No more supernatural stuff, no more moving objects or foggy mirrors. Room 312 was exactly like the manager said, quiet and peaceful. She could hear birds in the morning from the park, but on her last day, she walked past room 204. The door was open. Housekeeping was inside, changing sheets. Sarah peeked in. A new guest's suitcase sat by the bed, and there, by the door, she saw them. A pair of men's sneakers, brown with white laces, pointing straight at the door, ready to go out. Sarah watched and waited, just for a minute, just to see. The shoes didn't move, not while she was there, but she knew they would. Later, when no one was looking, they would turn sideways, 90 degrees. Always the same angle. A man who died 15 years ago, still getting ready for a journey he took a long time back, still trying to leave a room that would never let him go. Sarah learned something in that hotel. When people tell you a place has history, listen. When locals warn you about a neighborhood built on old execution grounds, pay attention. When you see shrines and statues with names like Bridge of Tears and Neck Cutting, maybe choose a different hotel, because some places remember things. Some places hold on to sadness so deep that it soaks into the walls and the floors and the mirrors. And sometimes that sadness reaches out, not to hurt you, just to remind you that it's still there, still waiting, still trying to find the way home.